The CEO of Parler, John Mates, joins me now via Skype. John, good to see you, and congrats on all of your success with this. This is awesome.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, it's going really well.
Yeah, very well. I mean, obviously because Parler started, when was the year that it started? When did you create it?
We launched on the App Store in 2018.
Okay.
And we had kind of an accidental launch in December of 2018. We didn't even have a website yet.
Yeah.
Basically, some people found us, shared it on the internet, and we went viral, and we had no idea how to handle that. And so,
I remember that because everyone was going, Parlay's out here, everybody go look at it. And I remember thinking, you guys have to be crapping yourselves because you could tell you were still kind of fleshing it out and getting ready for like the big launch, but everybody found you anyway. That's how desperate people were for an alternative.
Yeah, people have wanted this for a long time. And so you're kind of right. I mean, we didn't literally crap ourselves, but we were pretty close to it. I mean, we've got pictures of all of us sitting at the table with our heads like, oh my God.
Gosh. Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, no, that's...
But we've had a few of those moments over the years, and now we're finally prepared and we're able to handle it just in time too, considering Twitter and these other tech tyrants seem to be all lined up to take out the president and involve themselves in this election.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, because when you have so many individuals who, especially now during a pandemic, you have these social media platforms. This is like we have to stay 6 feet away, and now places might be locking down again, and you realize when something like this happens, how important digital spaces are and really how they can contribute to not just controlling narratives, but actually affecting policy in DC, which ultimately becomes law that directs and shapes your life. I'm curious as to your thoughts on, and then I want to get into some of the other stuff with the platform. When you hear all of these certain lawmakers talk about Section 230, and I'm very limited government, to the point where when I hear more government wanting to get involved, I immediately become, my American DNA is terrified. I don't know how to, I just can't handle it. When you hear these lawmakers, like Senator Hawley, who I like, he goes very hard on, yes, we need to modify Section 230. We need to have the government come in and do X, Y, Z. Are you worried about how that might affect your platform, especially as it's just getting started?
I think we need to be very careful with what we do with Section 230. But Section 230 I view as kind of part of the problem because it's old legislation. And really what it's kind of acting as now is like a subsidy to these. It's like a liability subsidy for a lot of these big tech companies, because they can behave like publications. They can publish whatever they feel like it. They can promote whatever they'd like. Yet at the same time, they have no liability for any of the damage they cause. And so they get to pick and choose like a publication without being one. And what that's doing is it's interfering with people who have actual publications who've built up an audience, a brand, a name that people respect and flock to. And so those people, are losing revenue as a result too. So this is a bigger problem than just censorship alone. But personally, I'm against big government as well. I really don't like government telling me what to do. And so that's why we kind of started it as well as a marketplace solution, because we thought, I don't really want to see Nancy Pelosi or anybody in the House. It doesn't matter if it's Nancy Pelosi or it's somebody else. We don't want them creating the rules for how we act on the internet. I don't really want that, whether it's Howley or anybody else. And I think the best way is through competition. That's why we started.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I noticed a difference immediately just using Parler as opposed to Twitter. The engagement, the interaction, the engagement, the way that stories spread, the way that hashtags are organically curated, for the lack of a better way to put it. I mean, because it pretty much is. It really is kind of a free-for-all. I love the Wild West aspect of it. That's why so many people, I think, that's why the internet was so conducive to free thought and free expression, because it was kind of like the Wild West, and you could choose how much of it or how little of it you want. And that's the same thought with this, right? Because it's the users who can determine if they want to mute someone or block them or downvote them. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that, because that seems to be, no one's complaining about trolls. I don't see that anywhere.
Well, we don't have, we have some trolls coming in, and they're welcome to troll as long as they follow the rules. Our rules are based in the FCC, which is like, and I just posted about this. I just made a parlay a few days ago, and I said, and for some reason, people started writing articles every time I make a parlay now. It's very weird.
I've noticed that.
I said basically you can't throw fecal matter at people in the comments section, and you can't threaten them with violence. And if your account literally consists of 100 comments of the F-bomb, that's not really contributing, so we're not going to keep that. But otherwise, it's like you said, a free-for-all. If you don't like somebody, you can tell them, I don't like you, shove
Yeah.
off, and that's acceptable. And, we don't have any fancy algorithms. We don't have anything that says, I think that you should see this because we're smarter than you, like Facebook and Twitter like to do.
Right.
We just kind of leave it chronologically. It's a town square. It's, if you got a crazy guy in the middle of the town square yelling at people, that's allowed too, right?
Yeah.
So,
I love
it's
it when the
created a
freak
really
flag
nice
flies.
organic environment.
It makes it entertaining. I love, he has the 5 rules. And I also love the way that the media has tried to use this against you by saying, well, look, John Mates says that there's 5 rules to parlay. So technically it's not, they're banning people. They're totally banning people. But I mean, it's like I love how I can't say this on federally regulated airwaves because censorship, but it says your username cannot be something obscene. And the example that you give is hysterical and no pornography. And, you cannot threaten to kill people in the comments section. That's never going to be okay because that's not actually protected speech. I mean, if you're,
no, it's not.
I mean, that's another big misconception that I think people have. If you're threatening to kill someone, like I'm going to come and kill you and then raise you from the dead and kill you again and kill your whole family and your dog too. That's illegal. That's not protected speech. I mean, that's actually actionable. So
yes.
This is completely basic. This isn't like some of the other platforms.
No, I mean,
Go ahead.
This is like basic human respect,
Yeah.
Don't throw fecal matter at people.
Right.
That's kind of a basic thing, right? And obscenity is actually defined by the Supreme Court too. So this is a real thing. This isn't like we're making these things up.
Right. Yeah, you're not just like making up arbitrary rules. And with this though, because it's left up to the user to determine how they want the interaction to be and how much interaction they want. I've just noticed conversations, how can I put this? On any other social media platform, people have to pick and choose their words so carefully that you never actually have a genuine discussion. There's no nuance. You can never look at both sides of an issue. You can't even explore them fully because then you're accused of betraying whatever thought tribe you're part of. And so as a result, it really contributes to these polarized opposites. Whereas the conversation that I see on Parler, people are not freaking out over how to craft a 140 character sentence that is going to trigger somebody. They're real conversations. And I think it's just very conducive to stuff getting done.
Yeah, I agree too, because whatever that limit is, 140 or I think it's 200 and something characters on Twitter. I mean, we always say tweeting is for bird brains because you can't even spell out a full thought.
Right.
So it's just for basically morons. And so what we like is people can actually explain their point of view and use, tell them what they're thinking, because we believe in the good of the American people as a whole, as most people are good people, and that if you let everybody have free speech and they can debate with people, then if they disagree with somebody or something bad is on there, people will come in and tell them they're wrong. I mean, that's just a general basic belief that American people as a whole are good, people in the world as a whole are good, and that they should be able to debate amongst themselves without Big Brother telling them that their political opinion is garbage.
Yeah.
And frankly, if their political opinion is garbage, isn't it better that the whole world knows who's saying that instead of them hiding in a corner somewhere, festering and like have some kind of scheme? It's like, no, there's the idiot right there. Everyone knows.
Yeah, put a bell on them. I mean, that's essentially what it is. That's what I like because I feel when all these regulations hide some really bad and awful stuff that is within some people. That's why I always say just let the freak flag fly, because then we can all see it and we can all make determinations as to whether or not we want to engage with someone like that. Your thoughts on tech and limited government individuals who need to do more in tech. I'm going to be just very frank about it. I think the right is stingy when it comes to funding tech. I think they are not encouraging with people in the technology and whether it's creating platforms or whether it's gaming, etc. What are your thoughts on this, and how can we change that?
Well, when it comes to finances, I was very conservative financially when I started this company, and it was really hard to scale up. And I realized that, and I had somebody, I can't remember who it was, they gave me advice. They said, conservatives make awful tech business people because they're conservative with their finances. If you want to do tech and you want to do it big, you have to really go big. And
that's a
we
frightening
started
thing
realizing
for somebody
that
who's
this
conservative
year.
financially.
Yeah, it's rough. And you sit there and you're going, ooh, should I make this decision? All right, we're going to do it. And then it turns out, that was the correct way to do it. It's the only way you can do it. We can't take over these tech giants unless we, really go big and go for it. And we're actually already seeing the amount of people that are on Parler can already generate a large revenue for us, well over what we're spending every month. And we haven't been conservative lately with our finances either. Yeah. And so we're actually seeing a very big reward for what's going on, and a potential reward. And as we continue to grow, this is only going to get even better. And so I think this is awesome. Conservatives should be, more interested in investing in these kind of platforms, even though it's a little bit more risky and not what they're used to.
Yeah, but they need to take a risk because there's big payoff. And I'm not speaking just financially either with risk. I mean, or with finances. I mean, obviously, culturally, it has a major impact. Okay, last quick question. Settle an argument that I'm having with like a million people. When you say something, it's parlay, but the platform is Parler. Am I right or wrong?
Yes. Originally, Parler it's spelled P-A-R-L-E-R. It was based off the French word to speak, but then we decided to change it to Parler because most people didn't know how to say parlay. And so then we changed the word for when you actually create a post, you're creating parlays, P-A-R-L-E-Y. Yeah. And a parlay is a bridge between two people with opposing point of views to have a discussion.
I'm going to go gloat about that.
So that's the whole concept.
Yeah, I'm going to go gloat and just be insufferable. So I appreciate, John, thank you so much for what you do.
Enjoy.
And thanks for the platform.
Thanks for having me.
I enjoy using it. Everybody needs to go sign up. John Mates with Parler.com. Thank you.
Thank you.